Welcome back to my channel. This is Yasmin. I have been very poorly, so do bear with me if I end up in a coughing fit. I'm not going to start this video again. I tend to do one straight run without edits, so here it goes. So bear with me. Today I want to talk about levels of awareness and consciousness, your vibration of where you are, and the information you consume at that level. Now, we know during this ascension period, we're all going through several awakenings. It's not just one. Life is a string of awakenings. And your vibration, your conscious awareness will be at different levels throughout your awakenings. Now, what's important to acknowledge is what served you at the beginning of your awakening will not serve you later on in your awakening, continued awakening, your continued expansion. And often when I tell people that certain things don't sit well with me, or I don't believe people to be from a genuine place, whether they know themselves that it's a genuine place or they're caught in the matrix, in an energetic trap, or whether they believe they are delivering the right information, but yet they may not be. Now, you may refer to these people as imposters, charlatans, spiritual fakes, whatever. This includes individuals, this includes modalities, this includes books, this includes everything. I'm going to name a few of these things, not because I'm out for finger pointing, but what I want you to do is to find your truth about certain things, right? I know that during my awakening, reawakening, continual awakenings, things that served me 10 years ago do not serve me right now, okay? And let me give you an example of this. So I studied many courses in Theta. It captured me, I got engulfed in it, and then very quickly I became very disillusioned with it, because it always talked about all the courses that you must do because all of these beliefs are affecting you, but also how limited that you are, right? The focus was always on the limiting beliefs and the limitations. No one was actually saying, let's just focus on how powerful you are and how you can co-create, and let's make this the way of living, right? Now, why would you teach someone their power very quickly? Well, if you teach them their power very quickly, they then won't buy the rest of the courses, right? But if you teach them that they're blocked and they're continually blocked, then they will continue to buy a course after course after course, everything from, clearing your country's narrative, to your past lives, to in your body. And yes, there are limitations within us, right? But the more you perpetuate, that story, the more you're living in that. I'm limited, I have limited beliefs, I'm blocked, right? Now this really annoyed me. I was told that I could only connect to source in a certain way. I was told I must hold hands with the person I'm working with. I was told that there are only certain ways of doing things. Now, I'm not a believer in this. I'm a huge believer in showing people how to connect to their source, the source that's within them, right? Because we are all a spark of God, a spark of the divine, a spark of creator that all there is, okay? I am no more powerful than you. We are equal. I am more practiced than some of you. Some of you have a better connection than me, all right? So it's not about who's the more experienced. It's about who's willing to put the judgment and the beliefs to one side and say, okay, if I am that source element, I am source, I'm going to be that and receive with the highest every single time, right? Now, when a modality tells me it's got to be this way, you've got to do it that way, that's the rules, that's it, and because this is the person that developed it and she's the only one that can do it this way, and I'm sitting there thinking, She's not though, right? I can remember being in one of the courses and being told to connect to the root of an issue, and we had something like 2 minutes. I got it in about 3 seconds, right? And the teacher then went to tell me, or the group rather, that, oh, the developed, you know, the person that channeled this in the first place, who made the courses, oh, she does it in seconds, only she can do it. Well, hang on a second, I've got the root issue over here. But no one would believe me. And I got it again and again and again and again. Why did I get it? There was the whole reason why I got it. And the reason was I was willing to believe that I am powerful. I'm powerful as the next healer, the next medium, the next intuitive. I have this power. I am a spark of source. So if I'm a spark of source, I have that light within me. I don't need someone else who's got a modality to come and tell me I'm doing it wrong, right? And I am a huge advocate of this, because we will all have a connection to source, but we all have our own way to it. And no two ways has to be the same, right? We're all different. We all have that way. Our sole purpose as a soul in its human incarnation is to discover the art of reconnection, to live in joy, to be of service through that vibration of joy and love, right? You can't be doing that if you're continually telling people your identity is built by these models and these things. Now, let me just jump onto a couple of other things, right? Because this is important. I had a conversation with a client today, and he said, but you believe in astrology. And I said, I believe in the nature of astrology, how it's replicated in nature. I believe in moon cycles. I believe there is planets that have, or other, I'm going to use the word planets because I can't think of anything else, but other things that have an impact on the earth, on Mother Nature, right? What I don't buy into, and I poke fun at it on my social media all the time. If you follow me on Instagram, you will find I'll always put a Gemini post up because my birth month is Gemini. My identity, the person I am, isn't ruled by Gemini, right? Number one. This is the bit I don't believe in, okay? But I've had these conversations with my friends, and they're like, yeah, but my kid, before she even knew she was an Aquarian, has got Aquarian traits. And I said, well, she's probably had hundreds of thousands of lifetimes as an Aquarian and has inherited those traits in her soul personality and has pulled them through, right? So whether you tell someone something or not, your DNA in your protein matter or your soul personality may have had this personality several times and is living in that in this current moment, right? If I wanted to make a list of the typical Gemini traits, right, it would sound very Gemini, but also it would sound like 70% of the other population, right? What I feel as a Gemini is not exclusive to me as a Gemini, and whatever house is in whatever thing, that does not determine me. I determine me, right? And this is super important for you to all note. I'm going to throw in Gene Keys, I'm going to throw in human design, I'm going to throw in any other modality, numerology, that tells you that you are this definitive character because of this, right? You are not. You are not. For me, numerology is replicated in nature. I have a belief in elements of it, but a number, my birth number, is not going to define me, right? Because as I grow in my conscious awareness, as I grow as a soul, I'm aligned to that soul path. That soul didn't say you're going to be a Gemini, you're going to have Gemini traits, plus you're a numerology 3, and you're in this house and that thing's going on there, and you're going to live by those rules. My job as a soul is to come here and rediscover myself as to who I am in my own unit, in my own spark of God, in my own source, right? So if any of you guys are living by a modality that says this is you, I want you to question it. I am so transparent with these things in my subscription group Soul School, I ask them to question me. If there is something that I'm saying that does not sit well with you, question me. I question me, right? We should be on a continual journey of questioning and not believing everything that's put in front of us because someone who seems to be more spiritually connected has answers that feel good to us, right? So in Theta, I was given answers that felt good. A couple of years down the line, I was like, this is not feeling good, right? I was told I had to hold somebody's hand to feel their energy. I'm like, well, all energy. I don't need to touch her to know her energy, right? They said, close your eyes and connect within, put your hand on your heart. Yep, I get that. I tell people to do that to block out noise, but I'd sit there and I could read straight off, right? And they were like, well, why aren't you sitting there holding your hands with your hand on your heart? Well, why do I need to? I can do this with my eyes open. Why do I need to do that? So I would get told again and again I was doing it wrong, right? Here is your journey as a soul in this human incarnation is to find the truth as you know it, your truth. We're here to discover us, not what a modality tells you, not what a book tells you, right? And I want to just jump into some of this because there are people out there that look very credible. Now, I'm not saying that they're not credible. My belief system from my own alignment, from questioning the truth again and again and again and again and having 100% trust in my channel through my source, I've come to a place of my truth. And I do not for one moment expect any one of you to be aligned to my truth because I expect you to find your truth in this. I expect you to do the work and the questioning and the connection to find what sits good in your body, in your heart space, because this connection to source is going to give you all the truth you need. If you can put this on a shelf and drop from here into your heart and find that truth and be open to it, then you're going to get it. But what's going to happen? The ideology that you've been subscribing to, that, you know, I'm a Gemini and I come from this country and this means I'm like this and this means I have to behave this way and I study this modality and it means I can only connect this way. What are you doing to yourselves? You are limiting yourselves. We are, I'm going to keep saying it, there's a spark of God, right? It's a spark of God. It's the creator of all that is. It's the universe. It's whatever you want to call it, right? Underneath that, you have oversouls, right? The oversouls take care of the soul families. We go down a ladder and we are all one, right? If you are that powerful from that power source of one, why are you not powerful? Why are you conforming to what a modality tells you, what a book tells you, what a star sign tells you? I'm sorry, that's bullshit, all right? I'm going to call this out because you cannot be an awakened one saying I'm going into 5D while you're constricted and bound by the rules of these things. It doesn't happen, right? Just because I'm Indian born in Africa, do I have just those traits? No, I can culture new ones. Do I just have the alignment of that country? No. Or my religion? Hell no. I can culture the new me, the me that I'm here to be, that's aligned with my soul personality, my soul's path, my soul's mission. And it doesn't have to look like anywhere I came from, any tradition I belong to, any modality that I studied. I find my version of it, and I'm going to keep on banging on at this because you guys need to find your own and stop relying on others to give you the answers. So let me give you another example, and I'm using this person as an example because of my belief system. I'm going to say this again. You use your discernment, your connection to source, to understand your truth about this example, right? I'm not saying this is how it is and therefore this is how it must be. I'm saying I'm offering you this version. Go and find out your truth about this version. Now I'm going to use, in Soul School, I asked the other day about spiritual books and what are you guys into? What's made the greatest change for you? And somebody put up medical medium. Right, now I have medical mediums books. I bought them many years ago because I was interested in the story of how he was able to do what he wanted. Now, just on a side note here, every book that I have read, anything that I've wanted to achieve, anything that I needed to activate, I asked for my version of that in my genes, in my DNA, in my blueprint, in my soul body to be activated. Because your soul carries all the information. You just got to switch it on, right? And you've got to believe that it is possible to be done, right? And this is part of the issue because you guys don't believe it. Because you're handing it over and you're getting other people to tell you the truth that you live by, right? So here we go. So I got the book from Medical Medium, I read it and I was like, okay, that's an interesting story. And then I got his other books and started reading about the foods that heal and how you should cleanse and the whole celery juice thing. But here's what I'm going to say. He did not channel that set of books to apply to all of humanity. First off, we have several breeds living on this planet, right? We have humankind, we have mankind, we have benevolent aliens, we have a whole host of other things that we are not aware of, okay? So to assume that he's channeled this for the wellness of everybody on this planet, maybe a section, and maybe it'll work for a section of people. And what I can say is some of the information in there is very credible. And yes, he's sold, hundreds of thousands of books. Well done him. Does not make him credible, does not make him viable, and yes, it will work for some people. Just like coconut oil works brilliantly when I brush my teeth with it, for someone else, it might be the complete opposite. We are individual to our DNA strands, to our complex makeup, which means that we need to learn the discernment for us. Now, there's so many things to take into account whether something will work for you or not. And you have these people, and I'm going to lump in here nutritionists, fitness professionals, all the rest, right? Not to discredit them. They're very, very knowledgeable. But there is a rule to apply to this. Take what works for you and leave the rest in everything in life. And the way that you're going to understand what works for you is when you read something, you hear something, or you watch something, you listen to the internal voice, the source energy voice inside of you. Does that feel true to you? Does your body say yes, or does it say, what is going on there, right? One of the ways I personally, my way, you will need to find your own way, is one of the ways that I understand who's credible and who is not, who's worth my time and energy and who is not, is can I listen to them for the whole of their video, the whole of their speech? Can I not only listen to them, but listen to them with an open heart and be full body receiving? Can I do that? 4 bodies, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. Do all of my bodies listen to that and take that on board? And I'm going to tell you something here. If there's ever going to be a guidance system, you need to listen to your body, right? Let me break this down for you as to why this is so important, okay? Your mind is going to tell you what your mind tells you based on knowledge, based on programming and conditioning and what's been happening for many, many centuries in the DNA that's been passed down through to you, okay? Your emotions are a guidance system which tell you what feels good and what doesn't. Your soul guides you through your emotions. Often we don't listen to this, right? So because we don't listen to this, it then suppresses into our physical and becomes a physical manifestation in a disease or illness. Like I've been ill because I have fallen out of sync of my 4 bodies, right? Here's the easiest way to explain it. An aligned body looks like this. 4 bodies out of sync. There we go. 4 out of sync, right? Not aligned. They're all out of sync, right? So how do you pull them back together? When these are out of sync, your spiritual connection has gone haywire. You lose your connection. You might find your connection quietens. You might find it's too noisy. What's happened in all of that? Well, you have to go in, and individually work on those 4 bodies and understand their reaction to whatever it is they're reacting to. Where does it come from? Why is it reacting that way? Is it something that's inherent in this lifetime right now? Is it something that's been passed down through the ancestral line? Is it something that I've been conditioned to, that I react emotionally, that isn't actually even from me, but it's been put in through my mind, so my emotions react and project that way? What is it, right? Why is it important for you to understand this? So important. Because when you are listening to someone for the first time, when you continually buy books by someone who seems to have had a lot of success, you become lazy to it, right? But what I encourage you to do is pick the book up, hold it in your hand, or hold the intention of the book in your heart and say, is this aligned to where I am right now? Are these words this person are saying aligned to where I am right now? Do I need it for me right now, and do I need it to move forward? How long do I need it for? Because you won't always need these things, right? A really good example of this is when people start their spiritual journey, they may buy cards, they might buy crystals. And as they expand a little bit further, they're like, well, okay, I don't need the cards anymore. I feel like I've got a connection, so I'm going to start feeling into this from an intuitive perspective. And then you might ask for validation, right? And so on and so forth. So the more ascended you become, the less tools you need, the less crutches you need, the less things you need to lean on, right? And if you are the type of person that will connect to your truth, your inner source energy, the source energy that's all around us, that each one of us comes from, right? If we trust that channel, there is no need for you to be buying books to know more information, right? I don't always know what I'm receiving and why. Let me backtrack on that. There's not always a reason for you to buy books. I believe there is a reason for you to understand something that you are interested in and how it affects the body. That's the knowledge that this protein matter in the top 3 inches needs, right? To pin, stick a pin in the board, put something to pin your hat on, right? So you have the knowledge, right? Then you take that knowledge and then you take it inward and you say, does this apply to me, right? Get your answer from within. I'm going to give you another example. I went to see a nutritionist and she has a style of working and she listed out a whole load of things that I should be doing. 80% of the things I was doing anyway, intuitively they felt right to me to do, right? She then recommended an example of a shake, which she recommends to everybody. Now, there was no blood tests gone on, there was no genetics gone on. She would not actually know that that was suitable for me, right? I took her advice, went on it, and I started feeling a bit rubbish doing it. So I was like, oh, I forgot to check in as to whether my body told me I needed any of this. So one by one, I checked with my body, I spoke with my body and said, do we need this? Do we need this right now? And everything that was a yes, I kept. Anything that was a no, I put back on the shelf. And then I asked, is there anything other than that has been recommended that I need to add in this, right? And I got greens like spinach or whatever into the shake. So, okay, I got my answers that I needed. Now, how did I know that wasn't working for me? Well, my hot flushes came back. I'm in menopause. And I was struggling with them. I was struggling big time. So I didn't want to feel like that. I eliminated 2 things out of the shake. And within about 3 or 4 days, the hot flushes have almost disappeared. Here we go. Because that works for me, it doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person or the next person or the next person. I asked my body, my inner source energy, what works for me, right? So when we're looking for credibility in what people say, I always say take the information, feed it into your mind and body and observe the reactions, all right? The more connected you are with your source about what feels right and what doesn't, the more you are going to be able to get a really clear channel, the more the four bodies are going to be aligned, right? Someone who's written one book with a recommendation to the masses does not mean it's going to work for everybody. And if you believe that it does, you're not critically thinking. You're not thinking about you. You've lost your connection, right? Or maybe you didn't even have one in the beginning, right? This sounds harsh, but I have to be this direct for you to realize, to know what is good for you is to know the connection you have with yourself, right? So people are always asking me, Yasmin, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? And I'm like, well, I do this, but it might not work for you. Why don't we just do an experiment to see what your body says about this, okay? So having that connection is super, super important. But also, bigger than that is to understand how your awareness grows with things. Just because somebody told you that something worked 5-10 years ago and it becomes a part of you, you forget that you're growing. You forget that you are becoming spiritually expansive, emotionally expansive. Your knowledge is different. The way of life might be different. So therefore, how it impacts your body is different. So whenever someone gives me something, I trial and error it. Trial and error, ask my body, and I get the truth. And I don't continue to believe everything that everyone says. What I do is have such faith in my own channel, my own source, that I sit and ask, what does my body need right now? Please tell me. And then I'll get things that I don't even understand. And then I'll jump onto the internet, do a bit of research, and I can say, right now I understand why I've got this. And then I'll always check back, how long do we need this? What quantities do we need? And then I'll go back in and check after that period if I still need it. You guys need to be doing this. Now, you hand it over because you're going to say, well, I don't know the truth about this. Do research. You know, we have more information, free information available to us than we have ever had. Just because someone credible says something, or perceived to be credible, don't assume it's right. Go and do your own research. Use your own discernment. Go and practice with your body. Look for the responses and apply it accordingly. And as with that, what you will notice, the books and the learnings you started with aren't the books and the learnings you're going to have maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years later. So when I see someone in one modality stuck in there for 15 years, 10 years, I'm like, well, that's where you've ended up. That's it. What's the progression beyond that? Because progression is never ending, right? It goes on and on and on and on. Let me give you a really simple analogy. You go to the gym, you start lifting weights, right? You're on the little baby weights, you know, this is all you can lift because your body is only coping with that. Your body then clocks onto the fact that we're utilizing this weight for performance and strength, and it's making us feel good, right? So what happens is you get used to something. So what do? You up the weight to the next level. Your body grows with your strength, okay? And we're flexing our emotional, our mental, our physical, our spiritual bodies in the same way. So to assume that one book is going to give you the answers and that the person is credible, they may or may not be. That's none of my business. My business is, what does my body say about this? What does my emotion, what emotions are showing me about this thing? What emotions are showing up? What does my head say about this, right? From a logical perspective, what does my heart say about this? I just weigh it all up, all right? The majority of the time, I will put my head on a shelf, right? And I will listen to the quiet parts of me, you know, the inner voice, of course, the heart, the body, the emotions. Check in, like, how do I feel in this moment about this thing? Does it feel good? No. Some friends of mine said to me the other day, really feeling this with this shaman, sweat lodge, really want to go. And I was like, no, not feeling it at all. And they said, why? I said, because my vibration is way higher than the collective energy of that place. And I'm not here to mop up their energy, so I won't be going, right? I didn't go. Your vibrational level is very responsive to the information you're consuming. And if you're not moving past a modality, not growing expansive beyond that, not finding what suits you and getting into alignment with that, you're conforming to a whole belief system of what other modalities, people, things are telling you. We're not here for that, my loves. We're not. We're here to find ourselves. So whether it be a book, whether it be a modality, whether it be someone you're following, find the pieces of truth that you need and leave the rest. I'm not always going to be for everybody. In fact, probably not at all. And that's okay. There's a whole bunch of people that I am for, that are aligned with this, that are willing to be open to something bigger. So whatever it is that you're currently focused on and you believe that is all there is, what I would ask you to do is ask your source inside of you, ask the universe, however you connect, to show you the possibility of something bigger. Show you the possibility of something bigger. I was told I would not be able to channel anything, that I couldn't speak to people on the other side, aliens, galactics, source energy, speak to the laws of the universe. I can do it all. Do you know what? I sat there one day and I said, right, which parts of these connections have I got right now? How do I use them, right? Which parts can I cultivate and which parts have I got to work towards, right? So when somebody says to me, oh, no, I can't channel from the other side, guaranteed I can get them doing it in about 10 minutes, right? So it's not about being confined to a way of thinking. It's about being the expansive person that you are. And the more that you confine yourself to any one of these, the more you're not in ascension, the more you are not getting to that 5D place, because you're allowing other things to identify you, to tell you who you are, what your characteristics are, what your traits are, what you should or shouldn't be eating. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. You decide who you are. It's time to reclaim us, my darlings. It's time to reclaim the part of you that you have handed over, your ancestors have handed over. We are in the age of truth, and you can only come to truth when you decide what is truth for you. So I'm going to encourage you to connect with your body, connect with your emotions, connect with your mind, listen to the variances, listen to the heart voice, and really pay attention to what it says. Not just pay attention, act on it, all right? So the client today, he said, I do the whole lemon juice thing, I do the whole celery juice thing. And I said, can you please ask your body if your body needs this, right? Because I heard straight off, it doesn't need this. And he said, oh, it's a laborious thing, and, I just feel like I need it. I was like, where'd you find it? He went, internet. And I went, okay, medical medium? And he went, yeah. I went, okay, let's connect with your body and see if your body needs it. Body straight up, doesn't need it. And it actually told him why he didn't need it, all right? And what he could do with instead. So if every one of you can do this, that's the guidance you should be listening to. Don't question it because someone's got a book and apparently sold hundreds and thousands of copies of that book. It doesn't make them real. Look at all the people that have been called out. Bikram Yoga, for starters, that has been called out. Guru Jagat, that's been called out, okay? Living and projecting a lifestyle one way and doing underhand things on the other way. Find your own truth, my darlings. This is the journey we're here to do, and it's the journey your soul's here to do, to find the truth, live in joy, and project that joy and be of service in love, joy, and compassion. All right? You can only do that when you take ownership for what your inner source energy is telling you. So you don't have to follow what I'm saying, right? I'm not telling you to believe in anything that I'm saying. I'm saying find your version of the truth and live by that, die by that. That's what should be happening, okay? It's your soul's mission, if there ever was one. I love you very much. I hope you found this useful. And if you'd like to know more information about Soul School or anything else that I've got going on, please check out the comments below. And I would love for you to share this for me, please. As the more people can take ownership of their own identity rather than a reliance on something else, the better. Thank you again for watching. Love you very much.